Today's episode is brought to you by Musical Theater Radio's merch store. Looking for that perfect gift for someone or just want to treat yourself to some great musical theater themed merch? Head to musicaltheaterradio.com and click on the All Things Theater button on the homepage and check out all the different designs available. And now, today's interview. Welcome back to another episode of Be Our Guest here on Musical Theater Radio. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanoff. If you are looking for a musical to see, today's episode is for you. If you're in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, May 1st to the 3rd, 2025, check out the Spotlight Productions production of Spamalot at St. Patrick's Secondary School Theatre. To tell us all about the production are Catherine Bertin, Megan Slater, and Stephen Nadon. Hello to the three of you.
Hey, John.
Hello. And you know what, listeners, this is going to be a nice, easier one. I know all three of these people, so it's going to be a little bit more relaxed and fun, but still informative for all of you. All right, now before we get to talk about the production, we got to get to know the three of you a little bit better. So I always ask for a 30-second bio. So Kat, because you have done this before, we're going to get you to lead it off. So who is Kat in 30?
Oh my gosh. No, I'm just kidding. It's like one of life's deep questions. No, I by day am an elementary special education teacher, which I've been doing for 18 years. And for most days, I love it. And then in my, free time, my biggest hobby would be musical theater. I went to school for theater at York University, and I like to put that BFA to good use by joining community theater. I joined Spotlight about 12 years ago and really found a great community theater through them, really a family feel. And so I love whatever chance I can get to get on stage and collaborate with others in that nice community sense.
Sweet. All right, Megan, in 30 seconds, who are you?
Hello, I am Megan. I am also a musical theater enthusiast, and I went to school for theater as well, with particular interest in directing. By day, I am a grade 2 elementary school teacher at a school in downtown Toronto, where I also get to do a lot of directing and musical theater things. I've been a part of Spotlight for the past, I would say, 12 years as well. I also am involved in other community theater groups. That's me.
And finally, Steve, who are you?
Unlike the other two, I did not go to school for theater, and I came to musical theater kind of late. By day, I am a high school teacher. I teach philosophy and world religions, but I do teach at a school for the performing arts. So I've done a lot of work with the students there. I'm also a pianist, so my introduction to musical theater was actually working as a rehearsal and show pianist. And it was much later that I found myself on the other side of the stage. But I've been performing on stage in community theater for over 25 years. This is my first show with Spotlight, but I've done a lot of work with other groups in Toronto, like Scarborough Music Theatre and Etobicoke Music Productions and a few others.
Very nice. Now, I'm always curious. Were you always into musical theater growing up? Again, Kat, we're going to start with you.
No. Which whenever I say that, people are always like, what? Because I've been in a lot of musical theater productions. My family is really interested in the arts, and we grew up going to shows all the time, whether it was straight plays or a lot of musical theater. And I remember going to see them and being like, okay, people are just breaking out into song in the middle of talking. What is happening? So while I would go to these shows and enjoy them, I myself, when I started performing, was mostly sticking to comedic plays or straight plays. It wasn't until actually I became a teacher and saw that through my my school board, that they had a community theater group and they did musicals. And that's kind of how I started doing it, because it was a way for me to connect with other teachers. And it was a way to kind of flex that muscle that I had enjoyed about being on stage. But yeah, it wasn't really till later in life that I thought, oh, maybe musical theater is something that could be fun too. And it is.
Megan, yourself.
I grew up loving musical theater. I grew up doing musical theater elementary school. I grew up in community musical theater productions from a really small town. Uh, Moving to Toronto was a dream come true because I was able to explore a greater arts community, connect with a bigger arts community. Uh, as soon as I moved here, I started teaching and I taught music for many years. So I also really was looking for opportunities to explore leadership in the arts and ways that I can take my passion as an artist and spread it to the world. So joining community musical theater has been life-changing for me because I have been able to follow that dream of this little girl who loved singing and dancing and being in musicals. I played Annie when I was 10. I was in 3 productions of Jesus Christ Superstar before I was 18. So I just love musicals, and I'm just so excited to be getting closer to my middle age and still able to practice, perform, and share musical theater and my love for musical theater with everybody that I meet.
Sweet. And Steve, you mentioned that you weren't necessarily always into musicals. I'd love to hear what was the change? What was that moment?
Yeah, growing up, my family would occasionally go see the odd musical. I remember the very first one I saw was like up in Sudbury. I saw a production of South Pacific, and we used to do family trips to Maine, and there's a little theater in Ogunquit that did shows down there. So I mean, I wasn't like into them, but I had seen a few. I remember seeing the movie version of Jesus Christ Superstar when I was maybe about 15 or 16, and I loved that. I bought the record. That's my age, the record. Listened to it over and over again. And then I think Les Miserables, when it came to Toronto, was another one that I kind of fell in love with. And once, because I'd done classical music up until I was about 18 or 19, and then I didn't go into music for university, I just was looking for an outlet to keep up my piano skills. And I started with choirs, and then that led to musical theater groups. And then I guess I just caught the bug, and it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. So let's jump to the production of Spamalot that Spotlight's doing. Kat, tell us what was the impetus for picking Spamalot?
So I've been on the board for Spotlight for, oh gosh, maybe 10 years now. And I part of that is being part of our show selection committee, which is made up of members of our board and then also members of the cast and or creative team. And so Spamalot is one of those shows that kept coming up. And for various reasons, we had discussed maybe why it wasn't right at a particular time. But last year, when we finished our fabulous run of All Shook Up, it came up again. And when doing All Shook Up, we acquired a lot of new, amazing cast, and we were just so excited with a lot of the comedic talent they brought to Spotlight. And so we kind of had this fresh group joining some of our veterans who really were into more of those humorous farcical shows. That's always kind of been Spotlight's niche. And so when we were kind of looking at different shows, we were like, Spamalot's one of these shows that keeps coming up. And now we have this great meld of some veteran performers that are really good at kooky, crazy characters. We have some new members that really showed off some amazing comedic talents last year. Maybe this is the year for Spamalot. And so through narrowing down with various shows and through a couple of discussions, we were like, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see if the rights are available and let's go ahead.
And Megan, let's jump to you, the director. When you heard about Spamalot, were you ready to jump on board? And how well did you know the show? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I grew up with the Monty Python movies, the comedy sketch group. My dad and brother introduced it to me when I was very young. I've always enjoyed that absurdist style of comedy. I've always appreciated and loved sketch comedy, especially. So when I saw Spamalot many years ago in, I want to say Stratford, or maybe Toronto, I absolutely fell in love with it. I love the idea of bringing sketch comedy into a musical. So when I heard that Spotlight was wanting to do Spamalot, I knew absolutely 100% I was the right person to direct this show. And I am so overjoyed with the talent that we have been able to bring into this production. I mean, there were so many talented people in Spotlight already, and we've just brought in all these new, great, wonderful people. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it.
And Steve, I guess you are one of those new and talented people that Megan is talking about. So, how well did you know Spamalot and Monty Python before you took on the role of Arthur?
I definitely knew Monty Python very well. I've seen, all their films multiple times. Always been a big fan. I've seen the musical before. I wouldn't say I knew it super well, but I was quite familiar with it. So when I saw the opportunity, I know a lot of people involved in Spotlight, although I haven't performed with them before. I've seen their shows and helped out on the music side a couple times in the past. So it's a group I'd always, felt a fondness for. So this was a really good opportunity. Plus, as a somewhat older male, there's not as many roles that really speak to you anymore. Oh, it looks like I'm frozen. Can you hear me?
Yep.
You're good
Okay.
on our end.
Oh, you were frozen, Jean-Paul. I'm like, oh, here's a good role for someone my age to sink my teeth into. Yeah.
Nice. Kat, you are also in the show itself. Tell us a little bit about how much you knew about the part that you played and your experience of taking this part on and the journey of the character and yourself.
Much like Megan and Steve, I have been a big fan of Monty Python forever. It was often on in the Bertin household. My younger sister and I used to watch everything Monty Python. And in particular, besides Flying Circus, Holy Grail was probably the movie that was on repeat a lot. So my sister and I were constantly quoting the show. Much to, my mom would always be like, "What are you guys saying? What are you doing?" Because we would just do the skits. And so what's really fun actually is one of my sister's favorite characters was or is Sir Robin, which is the character I play. And I mean, what a fun time, because he's just ridiculous. I mean, all the characters are kind of ridiculous as they revolve around King Arthur, who kind of has his own ridiculousness too. And just the what fun to kind of sink my teeth into this quote unquote not so brave knight who maybe joined the knighthood for the wrong reasons, perhaps. But I get to say one of my favorite lines: "What's he do? Nibble your bum." So I'm thrilled about that. And then also the opportunity to get to play Guard One later in Act Two, because I mean, that's something that Monty Python is known for, their double casting of actors. And we weren't sure if we were going to do that or not. And I was really excited when Megan was like, "Yeah, we also want you to play Guard One." Because I mean, to play these two ridiculous characters, but that are ridiculous in different ways. And so trying to show the difference in it, that even though it's myself playing both characters, that they're two very distinct human beings. And just the fun I've had, not just with the vision the creative team has had for us, but also how much fun with the core group of knights. Some that are new members to Spotlight that we're just so thrilled to have, and then some that I've worked with before. Just, I mean, it's hard to keep a straight face in some of the scenes, and so that's really going to be a challenge for me.
Nice. No, Megan, we all know musical theater is a collaborative effort. Tell us a little bit more about your creative team that you're working with.
Oh, wow. So we've got Carrie Lobianco, who is our choreographer. She is absolutely fantastic. She is also in the show. So she is balancing so many plates. She has also really taken on some leadership doing our costuming. So Carrie is just amazing. And we've got Evelyn Hawes as our music director, and she is brand new to Spotlight. And she's also brand new to the city of Toronto. And she is so wonderfully talented. She is just so calm and cool and collected and very knowledgeable. And she has really led the charge for how beautiful our music is in this show. And we've got Sally Tellis, my amazing secondhand woman. She is our stage manager. She is the most hardworking, organized person I have ever met. I am absolutely thrilled to be doing this with her. I actually couldn't do this without her. And then I've got Jeff Price, who is our assistant stage manager. And he has been helping out with Spotlight and our productions for many years. Jeff is a wonderful help and a wonderful worker. And I'm just so thrilled about this whole artistic team.
You've got a great team there, and
I-
I've heard definitely
lucky.
good things about that Sally person. If you know, you know. Um, Steve, as an actor, you get into your role, and sometimes you lose yourself in the role, or you find, parts of it is you, and you are parts of it. As King Arthur, how much do you relate with, the royal king?
It's an interesting question. When I auditioned, I wasn't sure which role I wanted. Arthur was certainly one of them, but I was also interested in some of the other knights. Being King Arthur is fun. I mean, he runs throughout the show. It's a good thing most of the time I don't see the other actors because I would lose it. The guy who plays my trusty sidekick, Patsy, I can't look at his face. I just can't because he makes me laugh all the time. And although King Arthur does have some funny moments, it's most of the other characters who get like the real laugh out loud lines. I'm kind of the straight guy, which is sometimes I'm a little disheartening because I'm like they're getting all the laughs, but I'm right here. But it's fun to play off it, and like you're setting it all up. So it's been fun, but yes, I'm glad I don't have to look at them too often because that's the biggest challenge, losing it. And also, like, I don't know, being the king in charge of a bunch of knights who are, well, let's admit it, a bit dim-witted, is not that far from being a high school teacher, where I'm in charge of some young people who sometimes, might not always get exactly what's going on. And I'm the oldest of five brothers, so I think there's a lot of parallels there that I could draw on.
I'm going to ask each one of you this, and a quick question: do you have a favorite song in the show that touches you, or for whatever reason? Kat, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I've always loved Find Your Grail. The funny thing is with this show, like there's so many ridiculous scenes and so many famous like Monty Python moments that are filtered throughout the show. But then a lot of the music is so beautiful. And it kind of surprises you when you listen to the lyrics and that are behind some of these songs. And I think Find Your Grail really has a really important message. And so I think that's probably one of my favorites.
Megan?
I was also going to say Find Your Grail because of all of the reasons Kat just said. It's a very uplifting, beautiful song. I also love Bright Side of Life. It is so catchy. I can't help tapping my toe when I hear that song, and I love watching that number. So, yeah.
And Steve, yourself.
Actually, it's one of the songs I'm really not in. The song that goes like this. Just the fact that, first of all, our two performers are brilliant in it. So I get to watch that one. And it's just clever, funny. And the way we've staged it, what's going on in the background even. I really enjoy watching and listening to that number.
Nice. Well, let's get to the important part. How do people get tickets? How do people find more about it? The websites, the socials, all that fun stuff.
Yes, of course. So tickets are on sale online at our website, which is www.spotlightmusicalproductions.com. And you can also find us through Instagram. Our handle is at Spotlight MP. MP is capitalized. And through there, there's links to our website, QR codes directly to our ticket sales. And ticket sales are picking up. So I suggest if you want tickets to get them soon.
Well, it was, you know what, great. I was say meeting you, but I've only met you many times before. It's great seeing you again. And just as a side note, thank you for being teachers. You know what? It's a thankless job, so I'm going to do it for everybody who should be doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, again, thank you all for coming on today and letting the world know. And, you know, people should go support community theater because it is the backbone, the lifeblood of theater. It gives an opportunity for everybody. So, thank you for being a part of it, being the directors, the producers, and the performers in it. And yeah, go check it out. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we were just speaking with Megan, Steve, and Kat, all part of the Spotlight Productions production of Spamalot, which is running May 1st to the 3rd of 2025 at St. Patrick's Secondary School Theater. So yes, go out, support community theater, and have a little fun, have a little laugh. All right, tune in next week as we speak with another guest or guest about their life, love, and passion, that is musical theater. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanoff, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.